Okay, so you're here listening because you really want to get to the bottom of things, right? Like really understand stuff fast without it feeling like a chore.
I think we all feel that way.
You want to like cut through the noise and get to the core of complex
Isn't
topics.
this
But like without feeling totally overwhelmed by information.
It's delicate balance.
It is, and that's what we're all about here on the deep dive.
Getting to the good stuff.
And today, we are going to dive deep into knowledge graphs.
Which is a pretty good example of what we just said.
Yeah, like a really powerful tool
For organizing information.
in a way that like helps you unlock deeper understanding.
100%.
So think of this deep dive as like a blueprint
For you.
for how interconnected information
Can totally revolutionize how you see data.
and how you use it.
And we're actually looking at a really insightful article.
From SEO Kiosk,
Dated April 4th, 2025.
which like unpacks exactly what knowledge graphs are,
How they operate.
why they're so significant.
And all the different ways they're being implemented.
And here's a potential aha moment for you.
Light bulb.
Remember when Google like shifted from just matching keywords
Which are basically those strings of text that you type in.
to the search bar
Yeah.
to actually like understanding the meaning behind your queries
Oh,
and treating information as like interconnected things?
strings to things, right?
That's it.
Google's big thing.
And it made our online searches so much more helpful.
Absolutely.
That transformation was powered by Google's knowledge graph.
It really changed how we access information online.
Fundamentally.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is knowledge graphs go beyond simple facts.
Like way beyond.
They can incorporate all sorts of information.
Like tangible objects, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But also like events, situations.
Even abstract ideas and concepts.
Which is whack.
But the real power, I think the key to unlocking deeper insights for you is how they map the relationships between all these elements.
It's all about the relationship.
It really is.
That's the context.
Yeah, that crucial context you wouldn't get from just isolated pieces of info.
So, okay, if you're picturing this in your mind, like what are the essential building blocks that we need to understand here?
So at its heart, a knowledge graph is built on three fundamental components.
3 things to remember.
Yeah, three main things. First, you have nodes.
Okay, nodes.
Imagine these as like the key entities.
The main players.
Yeah, like people, places,
Mm.
products, organizations, the core subjects we're interested in.
The things we want to learn about.
Right. And each node holds specific details about that particular entity.
So like their characteristics or something.
Right, exactly. Their properties, and then come relationships.
Which are the connections.
The connections between the nodes, exactly.
So how do they relate to each other?
These relationships define how the entities interact,
Or how they are related to each other.
adding that vital layer of context.
And the third thing,
Organizing principles,
what's that?
which are essentially the rules or categories
Okay.
that provide a structured framework for the entire graph.
Like the scaffolding.
Yeah, it's a good metaphor.
So the structure allows you to ask better questions.
More sophisticated questions, yeah,
And uncover hidden patterns.
that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Okay.
And sometimes those nodes are also referred to as vertices,
Vertices.
just another term for the same basic idea.
Got it.
Don't let it trip you up.
So for you, it's like constructing a massive network.
Of interconnected ideas,
In fact.
but with a clear logical structure holding it all together.
But how do you actually build one of these things?
Well, this is a multi-stage process.
Sounds complicated.
And it can be.
Like a monumental undertaking.
For any organization, for sure.
So walk me through it.
Okay, so it starts with data collection,
Gathering intel.
where information is gathered from various sources.
Like where?
Databases, websites, documents, really any place where relevant data resides.
So it could be a lot of different places.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere.
Makes sense.
The next crucial step is entity identification.
Entity identification.
That involves recognizing and clearly defining the key entities within that collected data.
So figuring out all the distinct things.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Following that is relationship extraction,
Relationship extraction.
where the goal is to determine how these identified entities are connected.
Okay, so like what actions link them?
What properties do they share in relation to one another?
It's all about making those connections.
That's what gives it meaning.
Okay.
Then comes ontology creation.
Ontology creation, that's a mouthful.
I know it sounds complicated, but remember we talked about organizing principles?
Yeah, like the rules of the game.
Exactly. Ontology creation is about developing that formal structure,
Okay.
defining the types of entities and the types of relationships that can exist within your knowledge graph.
So going back to our strings to things
So
analogy.
knew you were going to bring that back.
I love it.
It's a good one.
The ontology is like the grammar.
And vocabulary of our things.
It defines what types of things we can have.
And how they can meaningfully connect.
I'm starting to get it.
Good. Then you need data storage.
So where does all this go?
Putting the graph into a database.
Okay.
One specifically designed to handle interconnected data efficiently.
So not just any old database.
Right. It has to be the right kind.
Got it.
And then, importantly, for you as someone seeking information, you need ways to interact with it.
Yeah, otherwise what's the point?
Exactly. That's where querying comes in.
Totally.
Using specialized languages to search and navigate those connections.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you want to find all the researchers who have worked on both cancer and artificial intelligence.
Okay, interesting.
In a knowledge graph, you could write a query that specifically asks for nodes representing researchers connected by a worked-on relationship to nodes representing cancer, and D, artificial intelligence.
That's cool.
It's a much more direct and powerful approach for you than sifting through countless documents.
I can see that.
Finally, there's inference.
Inference, okay.
Which is where things get really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more.
The ability of the knowledge graph to automatically discover new relationships.
Wow.
Or identify inconsistencies based on its existing structure.
So it's learning.
In a way, yes.
That's incredible.
Think about it this way. By explicitly defining relationships, the knowledge graph can start to think for itself.
Whoa.
Drawing connections that weren't explicitly programmed.
Mind blown.
This could lead to unexpected breakthroughs in fields like medical research,
Oh, wow.
where a previously unseen link between two seemingly unrelated diseases could be automatically identified.
That's huge.
It has massive potential.
So that inference piece,
Yeah.
it sounds incredibly powerful.
It really is.
Almost like the knowledge graph can evolve its own understanding.
It's a learning system.
The article mentions machine learning and natural language processing playing a role in this whole process.
They're essential.
How do those technologies contribute?
So as new data is incorporated into the knowledge graph, machine learning algorithms and natural language processing techniques analyze the text.
And other data formats.
Yeah, exactly. To identify those entities and understand the semantic relationships between them.
So basically the meaning conveyed by the words.
And how they connect to build knowledge.
Like a deeper level of understanding.
Exactly. This process, often called semantic enrichment, allows the knowledge graph to recognize, for example, that Barack Obama and former President of the United States.
Likely refer to the same individual.
Right, and to understand the relationship between him and the White House.
So it's not just about matching words.
It's about understanding the connections.
For you, this means the knowledge graph becomes increasingly intelligent.
And capable of providing more nuanced and accurate information.
That's amazing.
It's a constantly evolving system.
The article also touches on property graphs and mentions Neo4j.
Yeah.
What are those?
Okay, so property graphs are a specific type of graph database structure.
Okay.
They store information as nodes and relationships.
Dude, we talked about.
But crucially, they also allow you to attach properties.
Properties.
Think of them as specific attributes or characteristics.
Like traits.
Yeah, exactly, to both the nodes and the relationship.
Okay, so give me an example.
So for a node representing a person, you might have properties like name, age, and occupation.
Okay, makes sense.
For a work set relationship, connecting a person to an organization,
Yeah.
you might have a property indicating the start date.
Okay, I see.
Native property graph databases like Neo4j are a logical fit for knowledge graphs because their underlying structure directly mirrors the conceptual model of entities and their relationships.
So it's like a natural fit.
Exactly.
The way the database is organized physically aligns very closely with how you conceptually understand the data,
Right.
which makes designing, building, and querying knowledge graphs much more intuitive and efficient for those working with them.
It simplifies the process.
That makes sense. So for you as the end user of information, it means the underlying technology is designed to handle interconnected data in a very natural and efficient way.
That's the goal.
So what are the major advantages of using this kind of approach to organize knowledge?
There are several key benefits for you to consider.
Oh, okay. Lay them on me.
Firstly, enhanced data integration.
Okay.
Knowledge graphs excel at bringing together data from diverse sources.
Like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, whether it's structured neatly in databases or buried within unstructured documents.
Yeah.
And presenting it as a unified whole.
So it's all about connections.
This allows you to see connections and gain insights that might be invisible when data is siloed.
That's huge.
It really is. Secondly, improves search and discovery.
Okay.
Because the graph understands the relationships between entities, you can perform much more precise and contextual searches.
So it's not just about matching keywords anymore.
Right. You're finding information based on meaning and the
Yeah.
connections between concepts.
I like that.
It's a more intelligent way to search.
And then there's semantic understanding.
Knowledge graphs enable systems to truly interpret the meaning of data.
So it's not just data points, it's actual
Yeah.
understanding.
That's the key, which is essential for applications like natural language processing, where context is paramount.
Okay.
They also facilitate complex queries.
Complex queries.
Traditional databases can struggle with questions that involve multiple interconnected entities.
Okay.
But graph databases are specifically designed to handle these kinds of intricate relationships efficiently.
So they're built for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also see significant benefits in real-time decision-making.
Real time.
Yeah, as organizations can quickly analyze the complex web of connections between data points
So it's faster.
much faster,
Yeah.
which is critical in fast-paced fields like finance and healthcare.
Where every second counts.
Exactly. And finally, interoperability and reusability are greatly improved
Because.
knowledge graphs provide a standardized way of representing data,
Okay.
making it easier to share and reuse information across different systems and applications,
So it's more efficient.
and less wasteful.
Those all sound like significant advantages that ultimately lead to a richer and more insightful understanding of information.
That's what we're aiming for.
It's not just about having more data,
It's about having data that's more meaningfully connected.
and therefore more understandable.
Exactly.
The article then moves on to discuss some real-world applications of knowledge graphs.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Where are we seeing these in action today?
The applications are remarkably diverse and likely impact your life in ways you might not even realize.
I bet.
One of the most prominent areas, as we've already touched upon, is in search engines and information retrieval.
Google.
Google's knowledge graph serves as a prime example, providing those direct answers and contextual snippets you often see in search results,
Yeah, I've seen those.
moving beyond just a basic list of web links.
So much more helpful.
Right? Another significant area that likely affects your online experience is recommendation systems.
Oh, yeah.
In e-commerce, for instance, knowledge graphs can connect products with your preferences, your past purchase history, and even the browsing behavior of other users who have similar interests.
So it's like, they know me.
In a way, yes, leading to much more personalized and relevant suggestions.
I can definitely relate to that.
Right.
It's not just a generic, people who bought this also bought that suggestion,
Yeah.
but something that feels much more tailored to my specific needs and interests.
Because it understands the underlying connections.
Yeah, exactly.
This extends to crucial fields like healthcare and biomedical research.
Okay.
Knowledge graphs can integrate vast quantities of patient data, the latest medical research findings, and clinical guidelines to help identify potential diagnoses,
Wow.
suggest optimal treatment options, and even predict potential health outcomes by connecting seemingly disparate symptoms, diseases, and treatments.
That's incredible.
It's empowering healthcare professionals to make more informed decisions that directly impact patient care.
That's so important. It really is.
Then there's enterprise knowledge management.
Many organizations are now using knowledge graphs to organize their vast internal data.
Like what kind of data?
Documents employee skill sets, project information.
Making it much easier for employees to find the specific knowledge they need and understand how different parts of the organization and its work are interconnected.
So it's about breaking down silos.
Exactly. For example, you might see them mapping relationships between ongoing projects, different departments, and the specialized skills of individual employees to optimize resource allocation and collaboration.
That makes a lot of sense.
Imagine a new employee joining a large company.
Yeah.
Instead of spending weeks trying to figure out who knows what a well-designed knowledge graph could instantly connect them with colleagues who possess the specific skills and project experience they need,
Wow.
dramatically accelerating their onboarding and overall productivity.
That sounds like it could really improve efficiency.
No doubt.
What about in education?
Oh, that's a big one.
The article mentions some fascinating potential there.
The educational applications hold significant transformative potential for you,
For me?
whether you're a student or involved in learning and development.
Okay. I'm listening.
Knowledge graphs are enabling adaptive and personalized learning experiences.
So like tailored to the individual.
Exactly. By mapping the intricate connections between learners, learning content, and educational objectives.
That's cool.
This allows learning systems to tailor the specific content and the overall learning path to an individual student's unique progress learning style and preferences.
So everyone gets what they need.
Precisely. They're also being used in curriculum design and planning by educational institutions to structure course components in a more logical and effective way.
Okay.
Identify any gaps or redundancies in the curriculum, and ensure a coherent flow of learning materials across different courses.
So it's like optimizing the whole learning process.
Exactly. Furthermore, knowledge graphs facilitate concept mapping and visualization,
Visualization.
helping learners like yourself to visually see and understand the relationships between different concepts and ideas within a subject,
So you can see the connections.
which significantly aids in deeper understanding and long-term retention.
I can see.
And finally, in education, they're powering semantic search and question answering systems,
Okay.
allowing students and educators to find relevant learning materials based on the underlying meaning of their queries.
So again, it's about understanding meaning, not just matching words.
Exactly. And to receive contextually appropriate and accurate answers to their questions.
Wow. So it's really impacting how we learn.
It's changing the game.
It's truly remarkable to see how this technology, which might sound quite abstract at first, has such practical and far-reaching applications across so many diverse sectors.
It really is.
From something as commonplace as your daily web search to something as critical as advancements in healthcare and as fundamental as the future of education.
It's everywhere.
Now, the article does briefly touch on some of the inherent challenges involved in implementing and maintaining knowledge graphs.
Yeah, there are a few.
What are some of the key hurdles that organizations face?
While the potential benefits for you and for organizations are substantial,
Yeah.
there are certainly challenges that need to be addressed.
Okay, like what?
One significant hurdle is the complexity and scope that knowledge graph projects can sometimes entail.
It sounds big.
There's a tendency to think that a knowledge graph needs to be a massive, all-encompassing system that integrates every single piece of data within an organization.
So it can be overwhelming.
It can. While such large-scale implementations are indeed possible, they can become incredibly complex and time-consuming to build and maintain.
So start small.
It's important for organizations to realize that knowledge graphs can also be smaller, more focused, and still provide significant value by addressing specific problems or knowledge domains.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another key challenge is the technical implementation.
So you need the right people.
Building and effectively utilizing a knowledge graph requires specialized expertise in areas such as graph databases, ontology design, and sophisticated data integration techniques.
That's a lot.
Organizations need to have access to or develop the necessary technical skills and resources to undertake these projects successfully.
So it's not just something you can throw together.
Right? You need the right expertise.
And finally,
Data quality and ongoing maintenance are absolutely crucial.
makes sense?
The value and reliability of a knowledge graph are entirely dependent on the accuracy, consistency, and up-to-dateness of the underlying data.
So garbage in, garbage out.
Basically, ensuring high data quality and implementing robust maintenance processes require a continuous and dedicated effort.
It's an ongoing process.
It is.
So while the potential is enormous, it's not always a straightforward, out-of-the-box solution.
Not always.
However, even smaller, more targeted knowledge graphs can still deliver significant value and insights for specific use cases.
Absolutely.
To bring our deep dive to a close, what are the most important key takeaways for you, our listener?
For you, the key takeaway is that knowledge graphs represent a powerful paradigm shift in how we organize, understand, and utilize information in an increasingly complex world.
Okay.
They move beyond simple lists and keyword matching to provide a much richer, more contextual understanding of data by explicitly modeling the intricate relationships between different entities.
Connections are key.
This fundamental shift leads to a cascade of benefits, including enhanced data integration, more intelligent and insightful search and discovery capabilities, a deeper semantic understanding of information, and the ability to effectively tackle complex questions that span multiple data points.
So it's a whole new way of thinking about information.
It really is. We've explored how this transformative approach is already impacting various aspects of your life, from the efficiency of your Google searches to the personalization of recommendations you receive to the potential for groundbreaking advancements in healthcare and the future of education, as well as how businesses are leveraging them to better manage their internal knowledge.
And those diverse examples really help to solidify the practical implications.
Yeah.
Like thinking about how Google can provide a direct answer to your questions,
Right.
or how streaming services can suggest content you genuinely enjoy.
They're using this technology.
These are tangible benefits that are often powered, at least in part, by these interconnected networks of information. It's easy to see the real-world value.
Absolutely.
But it's not just for big companies and organizations, right?
No, not at all.
Like the idea of building a massive enterprise-level knowledge graph might seem like a monumental task.
It can be.
But the core principles of understanding how information is connected and how those connections generate meaning are fundamentally applicable even on a much smaller personal scale.
That's an important point.
The SEO Kiosk article even makes an intriguing observation,
Yeah.
suggesting that SEO Kiosk itself as a platform aimed at optimizing information discovery could be viewed as a metaphor for how our own brains naturally strive to organize and retrieve information efficiently.
It's an interesting analogy.
So for you, perhaps thinking more consciously about how different pieces of information in your own life and areas of interest are interconnected,
Yeah.
almost like building a mental knowledge graph,
That's the idea.
could that potentially change how you approach learning new things or tackling complex problems?
That's exactly the kind of provocative thought I'd like to leave you to consider. Think about how frequently you encounter interconnected information in your daily life,
Yeah.
perhaps without even realizing that the underlying principles of organization are similar to those we've discussed today.
It's all around us.
It really is consciously trying to identify the relationships between the concepts you're exploring or the different facets of a challenge you're facing, unlock deeper insights, and lead to a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding.
It's like a new way of seeing the world.
It is perhaps viewing information not as isolated data points, but as integral parts of a larger interconnected web,
That's powerful.
is a valuable skill to cultivate in your own pursuit of knowledge and understanding.
Food for thought.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring.
And stay curious.
Bye.
Oh no, my pasta is ruined, it's true. Without the smoke, what can I do? I search the kitchen high and low, but where it's hiding, I just don't know. Wait, I found the salt, the day is saved. And now my pasta's perfect, and I'm so brave. With a dash and a sprinkle, I sing with delight. Now we feast on pasta all through